At the 2023 MIVA Media Day. We're starting first with Quincy University, and with us is Coach Karen Kibner. If you can start us off today, Coach, please let us know. Let's take us into the 2023 season. What are you looking forward to most?
I think mostly I'm looking for continued ball control and competitiveness. Last year we were a little off balance. We had 7 seniors and 9 freshmen. This year we're still a little on the young side. We have 1 senior, Eddie, who's with us, and everybody else is an underclassman. So we're young, but for sure we are more athletic. I was extremely impressed by our preseason workouts and the condition that everybody came in, including our incoming freshmen. As everybody knows, this conference can go a million different directions on any day. And by far, I think it's one of the most competitive ones. I think when you look at the West Coast, that's an equally competitive conference. So I'm looking forward to making some waves and moving forward. I know and I understand that being brought on to kind of, I don't want to say fix, adjust, and move this program forward is going to take a little bit more than a year. But I really do believe in my heart we are on the right path. Our cohesiveness has been outstanding this fall semester, which again, as anybody here is listening, that team chemistry is worth a couple points, and I'll take that and build on that.
We'll take questions from the media at this point.
Good, I'm done.
All right. Karen, Vinny Lopes here from Off the Blog. You kind of alluded to a little bit earlier in your opening statement, but what do you feel more specifically is going to be different about this year when we see Quincy volleyball compared to the past couple of years where you have had some struggles in conference play?
I think the most important thing that I have been witnessing this preseason is our athleticism. We have definitely ticked up the calendar on that. Our ball handling and our understanding of the game for sure is moving into the right direction. I also think our competitiveness, it's interesting through this process, it's not just a matter of 1 or 2 points we're being competitive. It's a matter of the entire scrimmage or the drill we are being competitive. And that's a huge thing that I felt really kind of impacted us last year. We'd get a couple points down and have to readjust. But during that readjustment, we just didn't have the competitiveness that I would like to see at this level. So that has been something that we have stressed in the preseason. No matter if it's just warming up, be competitive. If it's stretching, be competitive. Everything we have to do has to be around a competitive mindset. I will tell you again that every single returner came back in phenomenal shape, and which for me set the tone and the direction that the guys want to take the program. It's not just a matter of where I want to take it. I have extremely high hopes, but really what's going to make us successful is that these guys have bought in and understand the things that are going to move us forward.
I'll go next. Eddie, as the senior, what have you learned at your time in Quincy, more specifically the playing with other upperclassmen in the last few years, that you are using as your leadership style, and how you plan to lead the underclassmen on this year's squad?
Thank you. So throughout my time in Quincy, coming in as a freshman, I've gotten experience with a lot of upperclassmen, and they were great guys. I've experienced a lot of different leadership skills from different people on that team. And then moving forward, it's also just playing in the conference in general. It's given me an opportunity. It's one of the hardest conferences to be in. And then for me, I realized if you're beat down, you still gotta stand up. And I think that's something I want to bring into my underclassmen. So when we're getting beat down, you just can't give up. But that's also a life teaching. So if you're not playing volleyball and you go into the real world and something's happening, like you lose your job or something, that's still something to overcome and deal with and then improve yourself upon. So that's how I've learned my time at Quincy. But all the leadership skills from the upperclassmen from previous years. I've took that, developed it, and I want to bring it into these guys.
All right, Vinny has a question. Go ahead, Vinny.
Yeah, so question for the players and the coach. You look at this upcoming season, what will you guys or what will you and May consider a successful season?
Well, I think there's a lot of variance to that. I would consider successful. I mean, if you look at wins and losses, I think that's the first thing that everybody glances at. And obviously, I want to improve on that. I hate ending up last in the MIVA. I've watched it pretty much my entire career. Since this is my hometown, I've been involved with QU for a long time. But I understand that there's also markers as an individual coach, and maybe those markers are different for Rajay and Eddie and the players as we move forward. But for me, a lot of it is just that growth. I mean, we're still extremely young. Like, we lost pretty much our entire starting unit, other than our setter, our libero, and RJ when he was in there, and Eddie when he was in there. We pretty much lost that group. So in essence, for me, I think we're starting in the perfect place that I would want to be as a coach, really setting that foundation that's going to move us forward. It's not just a matter of the ball control. Like I said, it's the competitiveness. All those things are going to build on it. And so we have to build on learning how to fight to win, and then building on that and letting those wins teach us how to keep moving forward. So when I sit here and say, what is our success marker going to be? Gosh, I don't know, because it's for me, it's all increments. It's all increments that I look at the game, and are we doing this skill successful? Are we improving in this aspect? Is our offense getting in better? Is our blocking and our defense going to continue to move us into a situation to build on wins? Again, this conference, it's brutal. There's no easy way around it. I know that QU in the past has played spoiler at times. I would like to get past the attitude of being the spoiler and being in the mix. I think for me, that is winning, and that is the progression that I want to take. I don't want to walk away from a match and saying, oh, we were right there. No, I want to walk away from a match and say, that's how we win. You know, I don't want to be in a situation where perhaps we take somebody down in the conference and everybody's thrilled like we just won the national championship. Like, no, that should be our normal mindset every single day. So for me, as much it is wins and losses that keep me up at night, it really comes down to the things that are going to enhance us and move us forward. And those are those attitude changes. It is that team connection. It is that fighting spirit, that competitiveness. Obviously, fundamentals are a huge aspect for me. If we could finish middle of the conference, and again, anything can happen, you know, anything can happen. I think that would be a great move, but just to get out of that last place and start creating those little building blocks to moving up.
Coach, I'm looking at your roster. You actually have a new assistant coach this year. Can you tell us a little bit more about Devin Walker?
Yeah, Devin's awesome. I actually knew him when he played over at Missouri Valley. And then he was my predecessor at Culver Stockton. And he was around us a little bit last year. And after his season completed, he's like, you know, if you're looking for an assistant coach, I would love to consider moving in this direction. And as much as it was probably the hardest thing I ever did last year was going through this season without any assistance, I really do feel it was the right thing for me. I didn't want to just throw somebody into this mix. That transition was already hard enough. Losing Gavin, here comes Karen. You know, how many transitional moments can you put in a guy's life and try to rebuild a program? So I took on that challenge because I knew I could do it. I felt it was best for us. But having Devin on board is just phenomenal. He has a great connection with everybody. We really do, how do I say it? We bounce off each other well. I think he really works with the passers and the defense exceptionally well. It's important to hear, not everybody learns the same, you know, and I'm a very direct person, probably too direct sometimes. Thanks, RJ, for the nod. But I also think that Devin kind of adds an extra voice, an extra sense of confidence to the guys, that there's always at least two people outside of your team that you can come to if we need to move through situations. And it also helps me. Granted, I've been in this game virtually my entire life, but I truly believe that I am never too old to learn. And I think Devin really brings a lot of new aspects to our program that I'm embracing, and vice versa. I'm teaching him things, an old lady teaching a new dog some tricks. And but I really do think he's been outstanding, and I think he's going to show himself to be very, very valuable for our program.
And then just to follow up on that, for the players, what do you all like best about this coaching staff?
I would say how much our coach demands excellence. Like, she makes us want to win, Like, every practice, we have to come out giving 100%. Every game, try to come out 100%. Always have each other's backs. Like, everything that is necessary to win is the main goal. And I think having that, kind of builds us up to be better players, be better people, students, anything we need to be. And overall makes our lives a bit easier and a bit better,
I'd have to agree with RJ on this, because I feel like our coaching staff focuses both equally on academics and athletics. So we have study tables at school, and you have to reach a certain point in your grades and keep track of that. So I appreciate that from our coaching staff, because a lot of schools out there, other big schools, they don't really harp on the academic side as much. So academics is important, but also with the athletic side, our coaching staff gives us the opportunity as players to actually realize the mistakes we make, or just something we need to fix, and come in as a group and talk to each other about how can we improve upon this? How can we keep this person in shape? And can we actually count on that person and build that skill level up? So I think just looking over everyone and having that opportunity, even after this, after your college career and you want to go into coaching, you at least have some experience with high level players and you're actually helping a player out. So I feel like that's a good opportunity from our coaching staff, and they also do a good job giving us insight on what we need to change.
I'm going to piggyback on that a little bit, because there's nothing more important to me than well-rounded persons in general, especially in the world we live in today. And again, having been exposed to so much of my life was just encapsulated in the sport of volleyball. I really did lose out on some of the triggers and some of the joys that these guys get to experience. And it is priority one to me that they are well-balanced young men, not only exceptional athletes, because they are, and I can help move them forward. And one of my big things that I always tell them, and I felt it as an athlete, if I feel it, I can fix it. So it's not just a matter of, hey, Eddie, you're doing this wrong. RJ, you're doing this wrong. I want them to understand the feeling of maybe not presenting the skill the proper way, or maybe an arm swing, or maybe a block. What did you feel that could help you change it and adjust? So they're able to coach themselves through those moments on the court. And Greg Giovinazzi was probably the best coach that I ever had at that. He just told me to trust my instincts, and he would give me those little biscuits of insight and took those to become better and allow me to explore all the levels of the game. And I want these guys to have that opportunity. I don't want to be this person standing on the sideline pulling strings every time. I want to sit back and enjoy the beauty and the love that I have for this men's volleyball. It's phenomenal. The level and the speed, it has not even tapped off to where it's going to go. And it's so exciting to be a part of it. And these guys all of them have literally jumped in and bit onto that concept that we are more than just volleyball players. And it is making us better players on the court.